Here's something that should bother you and doesn't get talked about enough. When communities grow, we increase capacity at schools, police forces, hospitals, but not animal shelters. It's easy to find out how many beds a hospital has, but not easy to see if you have enough kennels to meet the needs of your community. There's no requirement for shelters to publish how many animal control officer positions are budgeted versus actually filled. No requirement to report kennel capacity versus how many animals are actually in the building. When you do find these numbers, it's usually because a reporter dug them up, or a records request forced it, or things got so bad that a city had to order an audit. That silence isn't an accident. Shelters that are doing fine have every reason to share their numbers. The ones that stay quiet usually have something to explain. And even the numbers that do get reported only tell you what's inside the building. They can't tell you about the dog someone let loose on the highway because they heard the local shelter kills and they figure the highway gave it a better chance. They can't tell you about the family who moved out and left a pet behind because they didn't think they had anywhere to take it. As more shelters limit intake and message that as compassionate, a shelter's numbers can look stable, while the real number of animals in trouble in that community keeps climbing, just out of view. But strip away the metrics debate, and the real problem is simpler than all of it. These systems were never built for the populations they serve. This isn't a recent spike, it's a gap that's been growing for years. A city can add 100,000 residents over a couple decades without ever adding a single kennel or a single officer to match, and nobody's required to notice until the system is visibly collapsing. In some places, it's worse than standing still. Budgets have actually cut positions from departments that were already too thin. Los Angeles cut 12 animal control officer positions in 1 year, then 7 more the next, from a department that didn't have enough officers to begin with. LA Animal Services serves about 4 million people. Citywide, they have space for 737 dogs. That's it. And this is where you have to be honest about what leadership can fix. You can hire the most motivated, most experienced director in the country, give them a strong team and good intentions, and it won't matter because no one manages their way out of a system built for a fraction of the population it actually serves. This isn't unique to LA. It's the same story at shelter after shelter across the country. Leadership matters, but it isn't the only solution. You can only fund your way out of a structural gap. You can't lead your way out of one. None of this means we give up on measuring. It means we measure the right things and stop treating chronic underfunding like a footnote instead of the root cause. So, what would actually fix this? 2 things. First, require these agencies to publicly report every quarter how many officer positions are filled versus budgeted and how full their shelters actually are. It's not a radical ask. It's the same basic transparency we ask from hospitals. Second, and this is the bigger one, treat spay and neuter access like infrastructure, not a nice to have that gets cut first when money's tight. Every dollar spent there is a dollar that shrinks the number of animals these systems were never built to handle in the first place. A community can't hold its shelter accountable to a standard it's never allowed to see. And it can't out-adopt a problem it never invested in preventing.